for Generation M. This is MetaNetwork News.
Good evening, Second Life. This is Rune Swan Sialan reporting for MetaNetwork News. This week, Second Life was rocked with word from Linden Labs that banks operating in the virtual world would have to comply with new policies that may well put them out of business. The why, the how, and the fallout. Also, the ACLU marked the 6th anniversary of Guantanamo Detention Camp with an event in Second Life. Linden Labs banned in-world banks effective January 22nd with an announcement on the official Second Life blog. We're implementing this policy after reviewing resident complaints, banking activities, and the law, and we're doing it to protect our residents and the integrity of our economy, Ken D. Linden said in the official announcement. Linden Labs will enforce the policy by removing bank ATMs beginning Tuesday. The Lindens defended the move by citing a host of reasons why the banking policy was implemented. The first reason the Lindens cited were the legal risks raised by such activity. Legal risks have been a serious concern in the financial sector as first Ginkgo and then later other banks collapsed in Second Life during 2007. The response in world was instantaneous. ATMs went down, financial websites such as SLCapX were nearly unreachable, and banking officials were buried under customer questions. The action sparked a run on banks in Second Life, with most of the major banking institutions, including Second Life CapX, BCX Bank, and L&L, and a host of others having their reserves drained within hours of the announcement. Signs appeared on ATMs telling depositors their funds were not available, and it could take days, weeks, or longer for funds to be returned. One resident, JT Financial client Lucid Snook, said, "I'd like to say that I'm glad that this policy is being implemented, but the method that Linden Labs decided to do it will ruin many people. They should have taken the time to alert banks ahead of their announcement." More reaction later in today's broadcast as we hear what is happening in the financial sector and what chances depositors have for getting back their Linden dollars. In other news, the stark numbers on the Guantanamo detention camp billboard that the ACLU posted on its Progressive Island sim tell a story on their own. They range from a high 775, the number of people who have been detained there since January 11th of 2002, to a low of 0, the number of people who have been tried for the accusations that put them there. But that's just the gateway to the event the American Civil Liberties Union put together Friday, January 11th, to mark the 6th anniversary of the opening of the camps. In 6 years, over 750 men have been imprisoned there, and more than 300 remain, said the day's primary speaker, B. Whiz Kid of the ACLU. Men as old as 98 and boys as young as 13 have been locked behind the gates of Guantanamo. Most have never been charged with any crime. We are here to say 6 years is 6 years too long. The event drew more than 20 people, most of whom took advantage of the free orange jumpsuits before taking their seats behind the wire enclosure that marked the makeshift stage. Folk singer Jewel Resistance performed before and after Kid's address. It's front-page news throughout the world. Even today, Kid told a largely supportive audience, and it's the first thing people say when they hear, "I'm American." The demonstration drew more than 20 people, most of whom took advantage of the free orange jumpsuits before taking their seats behind the wire enclosure that marked the makeshift stage. Folk singer Jewel Resistance performed before and after an address by the ACLU's B. Whiz Kid. The event was part of a day of First Life demonstrations in 22 cities, including Washington, New York, and Hollywood. Guantanamo Bay has been used by the United States to detain more than 700 people suspected of terrorism. Although the suspects have been held for years, none have yet gone to trial, and many have been released without being charged. Even without the extras, the crowd came charged and ready to make its feelings known. Kids' speech became almost a call and response session as the audience demanded the camp's closure. The ACLU says the sim will remain open until the camp is closed. In a recent office session with Linden's, Windlight was discussed. When the question was posed as to what benefit the viewer offered residents, their resounding answer was, "It makes things pretty." The lag time in Windlight remains an issue, and waiting for graphics to res in may require more time than some are willing to give, but the new features can certainly add dazzle to the Second Life experience. Windlighters, we want to hear from you. Send us your reviews, experiences, and photos of the new viewer. Programmer and developer of Second Life Business Link, Amor Philbin, knows that the recent changes in the search engine have impacted business owners. The search engine in the newer clients is being replaced with an entirely new system developed in association with Google, Philbin said. So what does this mean for residents? They will now be offered many more options each time they search. Businesses may find themselves lost in the crowd, and residents might be inundated with options that don't actually offer what they need. Businesses use keywords to encourage traffic, even if inventory doesn't actually include what the resident is seeking. The Second Life Business Link is a tool that businesses can use to become listed in a directory. Residents travel to a hub and can easily scroll through qualified vendors under a variety of categories. Our clients are hand-selected, and we have strict limitations on access into the directory to ensure that our clients can find what they want accurately, quickly, and conveniently, Philbin said. The team at Second Life Business Link looked at where there were limitations in the functionality of the newer search tools and identified where it failed as a global service. The markets were down sharply in the immediate aftermath of the Linden's policy announcement due to uncertainty over whether the exchanges would be banned along with banks. According to SL Quotes, the International Stock Exchange is down 14.9% for January due to a major sell-off triggered by the bank panic. Other exchanges were also down, including SL CapX, which was down 15%, and ACE, which was down 28%. Two exchanges bucking the trend were the World Stock Exchange, which closed for repairs in early January and remains closed. VSTEX also bucked the trend, heading up 10.3% for the month, despite the broader decline seen in other exchanges. Thank you for tuning in to this initial broadcast of MetaNetwork News, your source for unbiased information about Second Life. We look forward to serving our viewers as we move forward with more broadcasts and more reports to enhance your virtual experience.
Television for Generation M. This is MetaNetwork News.